6th, and it is Factor 5 Live. So welcome to Factor 5. Today we're going to talk about our show and event schedule, or the lack thereof. First of all, it was my birthday yesterday, May 5th, and so I want to say thank you to everybody. I know there's this hot debate among Star Wars aficionados about the Revenge of the 5th, Dave, or the Revenge of the 6th. I don't know how that works. Can you explain that?
Well, you have May the 4th be with you on Monday
Right.
this year. Then you have Revenge of the 5th because it's the next day. But I prefer Revenge of the 6th because it's closer to the actual word, Sith.
Phonetically, or number of letters, or?
Both.
I was just sucking him into that because he's a total nerd and he wanted to explain that, so.
Yeah. Let's stay focused.
Hey, yeah, right. By the way, thank you for the birthday wishes yesterday. And I got a really cool book of quotations I've had Bartlett's for the longest period of time. And I grabbed this book and I put our event schedule inside it. So let me just sit down, Dave. Yeah, and I went right to the book of quotations they had a section for cars. And I found on Facebook, this one guy, Dr. O, he was a Nobel Prize winning author. He wrote, it's like driving a car at night. You never see further than your headlights, but you can make the whole trip that way. I kind of feel like that's the way we are. We don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. We don't know what next month is going to bring. And when we're talking about shows, events, we got to kind of err on the conservative side. So I'll go through some quotes later. They're awesome car quotes in there. But right up front, if you go to our website, Carlisle All Ford Nationals, it was rescheduled to July 31st to August 2nd. Now, I think a lot of these things are tentative. I don't think that anybody really knows it's going to happen a month from now. So maybe these will come through just wonderfully. I think the best people can do is make plans. Kind of hope for the best, plan for the worst. But the All Ford Nationals, we usually go with Ford Motors, Ford Race Performance. And Carlisle All Ford Nationals are going to be July 31st to August 2nd. Now, Mad Dog's going to update our website on this. The big news is our open house. I had to make the call today. I don't think it's responsible. I don't think we can really, in good conscience, keep it on the schedule. So what I'd like to do is tentatively reschedule it. That and our big Huntington Beach cruise-in are going to be rescheduled for September. Now, I don't know what the pace of this and what the reality is going to be like over the summer and in September. So this is tentative. But the open house is going to be Labor Day weekend, September 5th. And then our Huntington Beach cruise-in is September 12th. Going further, Tony just told me yesterday he was talking to the guys at Barrett Jackson Northeast. And that was originally scheduled for June 24th to 27th. That's been canceled. I don't know if they're going to reschedule at this point. They may have already, but for you guys that'll be on our schedule, we're not going to be there obviously in June. And also in June, I talked to George, and he told me right up front this morning that they're not going to be able to do the London Cobra show. They're still going to do the raffle for the giveaway car. So if you want to buy a ticket for the Ohio Cobra Club's raffle, you can buy a ticket. Maybe because they're not going to have the show, they'll sell less tickets. Maybe your odds are a little better. But they're still going to donate a ton of money to charity and sell the very first number, 001 serial number of the Ohio Cobra Club raffle car. Now, I know Kleiner donated his time on painting that car, and he put some photos on his Facebook page. I think we put them on ours. The car looks great. It's a clone of the silver 25th anniversary car. We can maybe do something close up on that car later on. There's certainly not a lack of subject matter. Syracuse Nationals. As of today, on their website, it says it's still on. So I called them up, and I got a recording, and it says, as of today, right now, the Syracuse Nationals for July 17th to 19th is still on. Now, I'm going to qualify this. If there's an event that's on, and I don't think it's safe, we're not going to go, but if it's on, tentatively, we're going to go. So July 17 to 19 is really the first summer event we're going to be able to go to. I'll get to the local cruise-ins in a bit. Well, it's the next one. Number 7 is the Patriot Place Bass Pro Shops cruise-ins. Those are every other Thursday, all summer long. I think we're just going to have to, look, they're all on the schedule. As far as I'm concerned, the very next one is canceled, the very next one is canceled. So as soon as there's one on the schedule, it's a local thing. It doesn't need a lot of planning. It's not like there's people that come in from out of town to go to it. If people are in from out of town, they happen to go to it, that's fine. But it's kind of one of those local cruises. We'll just keep you updated on our Facebook page and the forums and our website if we're going to go to one of those when they resume them. They go all the way through October. And it's every other, I think it's every other day. It's Thursday nights, right?
Thursdays, yes.
Yeah. I got off the phone, and last time we did a Facebook Live, we were talking about EAA. And I got off the phone with Kathy Grezia, and she confirmed with me that they are rescheduling for 2021. So, and it makes sense with EAA because that's usually the last week of July, first week of August. And the logistics for flying airplanes in apparently is a little more complicated than cars. So EAA is off the schedule for this year. That's canceled without a delay date or a renewal date. That's just canceled, but it'll be up next year. I haven't heard anything from NSRA Nationals. That's in August in Louisville, Kentucky. And then the last two items that I already discussed, Huntington Beach and our open house. If you think about September, we have September 5th. Labor Day weekend is our tentative plan for our open house. And then September 12th, the very following weekend, is Huntington Beach. I really, really want to do those events. I certainly am not going to let my desire to celebrate 25 years and have a party interfere with safety. So we're obviously happy one day and look at data and be really depressed the other day. And there's quite the national debate going on this. Let's see. Also in September, it's unknown if NSRA Nationals, the Street Ride Nationals up in Burlington, Vermont, are going to be held. That's really a cool event. It's local for us. We take our truck up there. Right now, that's tentative. It's September. It's pretty far away. And then the last event of the year is the SEMA show, and I was really looking forward to not only celebrating 25 years, but giving the world, not the Factor 5 community, which will get a sneak peek, but giving the world the first look at the F9, the F9R, a track car and a street car, our all carbon fiber body front engine supercar. SEMA, the good news about SEMA is just yesterday we got our booth selection, and I'm a contrarian. So when everyone is selling on the stock market, that's when I'm buying. I've always done that in business. I've always tried to go my own direction and not the direction of the herd. And a lot of companies are pulling out of SEMA or not committing. Well, I doubled down. So I doubled the size of our booth at SEMA, and because of that, we are now two booths over from Ford Motor Company, right in the heart of Hot Rod Alley in the main drag next to Edelbrock. I think it's next to 10. A fantastic booth location. I think it's a 30 by 50 or a 30 by 60, massive booth. So we doubled down on SEMA, had to come up with the money to pay for it, but hopefully SEMA will go on. But you're talking about, again, 350 to 400,000 people between the inside show and the outside show, millions of square feet, lots of people. So if this thing isn't squared away by September, there's a chance that whole thing gets scrubbed. But what's not a chance is we already got our booth, so we're locked in. And all the companies that are running scared and not going to SEMA, I really recommend against that. I think now is the time when SEMA needs our support the most. We're asking our customers to support us when times are tough. Well, guess what? We got to support our industry. So we doubled down at SEMA. Where I'm going to find the money to pay for that booth, I don't know, but I think I got it. Anyway, if you guys have any questions, Dave, on the events, that's all of our events. Mad Dog's going to update our website today. We're going to send out a mass email. We're going to post on the forums and everything else. I just want to do it on Facebook Live and YouTube Live to kind of go through what we're doing this summer. Any questions, Dave? And I had some cool car quotes.
No, just are we going to build a car at SEMA this year if it's on?
Probably not, no. I think there's a good chance because of our investment in the indoor booth that we either may not have an outdoor booth, or if we do have an outdoor booth, it'll be mostly customer cars and customer staffed. I mean, you're talking about a massive indoor booth that's literally twice as big as the booth we've had indoors in the past. So yeah, it's going to be hard to do all that stuff. We're a small company, but then again, what happens with SEMA all the time is, and my guys want to kill me because it'll be 3 weeks before SEMA, and I'll get a call from Ford or from Coney, and they'll want something, and I'll say, yeah, we can do that. I hang up and I say, hey guys, here's what we have to do. So, who knows? Maybe this whole, so if Barrett Jackson Scottsdale happens, almost for sure we'll build a car at Scottsdale. Now, I should mention also, we do every year a charity car. We donated the car already to the pilots of FedEx, and Federal Express pilots build the car, and then they auction it at a gala event. It's kind of their PGA. I think it's called their jam. That's not going to happen this year. We will still build the car, but I think we're going to either auction it on a live auction online, or they're going to push it to the following year. We're still donating the car. So we did 2 donation cars this year. We did the London Cobra Show, and we did FedEx. So anything else, Dave?
No, we're good.
All right, so here's some cool car quotes. And some real knucklehead quotes too. I thought were kind of cool. Ayrton Senna wrote, "When you're fitted in a racing car, you race to win. Second or third is not enough." Dave, does that remind you of a quote? Think hard, Dave. 5 Racing, and it's a business philosophy we've been it's a never-ending battle of making your cars better and also trying to better yourself as a driver or in business. If you're not doing something better every day, you're last. If you ain't first, you're last. Tim Allen said, my mom said the only reason men are alive is for lawn care and vehicle maintenance. That's about right, actually. And I have a Talladega Nights quote, but I don't think I'm going to use it. This guy, Yuan T. Lee, he was from China. He's actually from Taiwan, and he's a famous chemist. He wrote a quote, and I'm going to make fun of him because he's totally wrong. He said, "We need to become good citizens in the global village instead of competing." What are we competing for? To drive more cars? To eat more steaks? That will destroy the world. I'm sorry, my friend. Driving cars will not destroy the world. As a matter of fact, I made an impassioned case for this. The automotive aftermarket, hot rodders, customizers, everyone that goes back in time to the earliest days of board track racing and motorcycles, in motorsports, the Indy 500 when it was a brickyard, we innovate. Those innovations translate into technology that actually makes life better, that makes the planet better. And I think that as an automotive aftermarket association and as a collection of people, hobbyists and people who love the sport, we got to stick to that. We got to defend our sport and say, hey, you know, you go to Bonneville, the guys who are racing at Bonneville, a lot of the technologies and you know, downflow, wind resistance, streamliners, a lot of that technology gets brought into the mainstream and helps mileage on cars. We so don't get credit for the innovations we make that get trickled up or picked up by major manufacturers and technologies that we develop and someone else takes. So, you know, innovation and entrepreneurialism and the aftermarket in the automotive industry is hand in hand with things that benefit the environment, that benefit the world. It might not seem like at a Top Fuel race, but it is. I did in my Facebook post, Brock Yates, I admit to wasting my life messing around with fast cars and motorcycles, great waste of life. And he wrote, more books, more racing, more foolishness with cars and motorcycles are in the works. Sterling Moss, I wrote some that I liked. You know, everybody knows Steve McQueen's quote. It was on the opening of the Isle of Man TT video that if you haven't seen it, it's epic. But racing is life. Anything before or after is waiting. That was Steve McQueen, and he was a real racer. Sterling Moss wrote, I would rather lose a race by driving fast enough to win than win a race by driving slow enough to lose. That's a cool quote. And Lewis Hamilton said of Sir Sterling Moss, who I think he passed away a month ago, you know, in his 90s, I think he was 90, 92 years old. Lewis Hamilton, who's won, you know, world championships maybe 6 times, I think. I have a huge admiration for what he was able to do. They were real heroes back then. I can personally attest, guys like Dan Gurney and Bondurant and Shelby's team, and they were risking their lives in motorsports that we still are, but to a much smaller degree. And the last quote was Sterling Moss's quote that really hit me home, that reminded me of Factory 5. And a lot of people have accused me of, you know, dropping the throttle and pushing the company a little too hard, and maybe we could have, you know, executed better on things if we had taken a little bit more time. And I'm always wanting to add more projects, add more challenges. Sterling Moss said, if everything is under control, you are just not driving fast enough. And that's a great quote. So I'll keep it. Hey, Dave, 15 minutes, man. That was good. And I opened after the buzzer. So, guys, Jeff, great job on the London Cobra Show car. Make a difference, do good. Dave out.